Shay.
My name is Mariah Beth.
I'm Rukia.
I'm Amber.
And we are your lovely hosts for the GAG.
Alright. So I know y'all heard about the little Ayesha Curry conversation that's been going on.
Yes, we definitely did.
Alright, we gotta talk about that. But first, if you've been living under a rock, here's a little clip of what we're talking about.
Something that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What,
You're not
like,
looking. You're not even looking.
Alright, so what did y'all think about that?
I feel like I understand where she's coming from. I could get it. Like people saying, oh, well, you got a husband that loves you. He showed you off. He's this and that. He gave you 3 kids. She's one of the hottest NBA players. Why do you need male attention? That's the other side. Have y'all picked a side? Because I'm in between.
I kind of picked a side. I'm not going to front. And it wasn't in favor of Ayesha. And my only thing is, because sis, you already on what is socially acceptable of good looking. And then everything else is just how you present yourself to the world. You're light skinned with nice eyes, you're, well, you know, before you had the baby you was thinnish, but even after you had the baby, you
Still not big, yeah.
not even, you barely thick, like, and my thing is like, oh, you want somebody else to come and say what to you, so they could be rejected, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, you look beautiful, you want them to shoot their shot, so you can play them, like, what kind of, that's an ego thing for me, like,
Yeah,
I'm not feeling that.
definitely. I say the same thing because even I'm not on Ayesha's side. I hear her, but I don't feel her. Like I understand what she's saying, but because I'm looking at it like, sis, you are similar to what Krista said. You got the hottest nigga in the game right now, who is giving. Forget attention. This nigga gave you 3 children. Like, what more do you want? Like,
And support.
exactly. And he's still there. Like, and he's still around. So it's just like, who's this attention that you want? Like, where is it coming from that you want this attention? Like, I feel like Krista said, if anybody that stepped to her at this point, he's already given her so much more, so much. So what is this other person going to give you?
Right, where can I meet you?
Yeah, so like, what do you have to offer me? Like the conversation we had before, like, what do you have to offer besides sex at this point?
Right.
Because she has everything. She's got her own restaurant, got her own cooking recipes, got children. Like, sis, what else do you want?
So I'm kind of in the middle with Amber because I understand her. Like I appreciate her voicing her insecurity. I think that's where it started. Like, all right, it's okay for everybody to be insecure, no matter what your standard of beauty is to what society. And we've had this conversation before, and it's like, okay, someone can look on the outside and be like, oh, well, you're physically acceptable to society as beauty, so you have no say-so to be insecure. But that's not right, you know? Everybody has an insecurity. No matter what you're looking at on the outside, it's what's happening on the inside or what's being said in your mind about yourself that creates that insecurity. So I'm with Amber on understanding her, but I'm with y'all too, because it's like, it is a little egotistic.
Yeah, because another thing is like, I understand people having insecurities. And I feel like it would even come across differently if sis was like, you know, sometimes I don't feel like I'm that great looking, like, you know. But she ain't say that. Sis said, I would like more guys to hit on me.
I think she worded it wrong. I think that was the issue.
I could take that.
Yeah, I think that's what she meant. Because even so, like, his mother said, they are looking, you just don't see them because you're not looking. Now this is me on the other side. I feel like sis is just mad that, you know, she in a relationship with Steph. He could be like, oh, so you know these groupies, yada yada yada. She can't say that, she can't say that.
Like,
now let's throw back at her like, dang.
But now there's jealousy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's just like, dang, nobody really checking for me like that. And this sister said nobody ever checked for her. She said they haven't checked for me in the past 10 years since I've become a wife and a mother.
Especially to Steph Curry, like you said. This nigga got money, bands, cars, everything, right? Double everything, right? Double portion, everything. So it's like, what kind of man could possibly step to you and match that?
Right.
And Beyonce, she created like this beautiful woman image, and I not saying that Ayesha's not beautiful, whatever. Like she created this like beautiful standard, and then she also has like this sex appeal. So people are going for both. You understand what I mean? We have women trying to aspire to be like her, then we have men like after her because she's like sexy. Ayesha Curry, she doesn't present that to us.
She's just plain.
She's beautiful, but she ain't sexy. That's not a cooking show. Like, she's a mom.
That's a mother. Exactly.
Like, you know something.
You pick the path.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like you could be both like Beyonce. She on stage, she this person at home. She her your whole career in life is what mothers do.
Are known to do. Exactly.
You know she want to be a MILF?
One thing that I'll say too, like about Beyonce, the like separating the two is she became Beyonce was. Remember, she's that alter ego, like all of that. She created all that. Ayesha Curry, we know you as Steph Curry's wife, and then you blossomed out of that. You understand? So like she didn't become her own person first.
So just to put it on the other side of the fence as well, like let's take her fame and her notoriety out of it, right? And her just being a person. How many times have we experienced insecurity with men that we were with, or not feeling like we were being looked at that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, so like let's flip that, because I know I've dealt with a lot of insecurity when it comes to men and what they accepted me for, what I put myself out there as, and to put it back on the other side for Ayesha, like outside of her notoriety and all the money and all the fame and her husband being who he is, she's a person at the end of the day.
You know, I feel like that's a reflection of who she is, though, because now you have just made your worth. I feel like literally what you said is exactly what you meant to say. It may be like now that there's so
Out
many
of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speaks. You said not enough guys are hitting on me or whatever. I want to say that's exactly what she said. So it's not word for word, but basically that's it. Not enough guys are. So you just connected your worth to how many guys are hitting on you, and so many women do that. And so I feel like that's the problem. Like when you made it about the attention that you're getting from a man, and yet you already married. Now some people's like you're married already. Like if you're that concerned, you are addressing your insecurities to the wrong people. Your husband is the one
who, and I questioned that too watching. I was like, I wonder if she had the conversation with Steph. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if she did, as a husband, what was his response? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he lifting her up? Is he, you know, does she have that support at home? Because if that's coming out of your mouth, you and your husband are clearly, there's a disconnect. You know, there's clearly a disconnect on his end as well. And so because I would want my man, if I'm feeling that way, especially with his fame and his stature, I need you to be there and supportive of my security in you, you know? And if you're not making me feel that way and you're this friendly guy, like she would say, oh, Steph is so friendly, he be talking to people. I'm like, all right, like, you know, how is Steph making her feel at home? The fact that that's even on her heart.
So when we talk about like the desirable or undesirable woman, like how, in what ways does that come across in like everyday for women? Like, well, how do you know that you're what's desirable? Like, for instance, like it's a very thin line apparently, because yes, Ayesha is beautiful, yes, she is pretty, and I feel like those are two different things as well, but she feels undesirable. So who's to blame for that comment that came out of her mouth?
Society pretty much gives you your image, in a say. Her family, her husband, herself.
And it was very interesting for me to hear her say like this is an issue for her, because in other conversations she has spoken ill of women who dress in a certain way or who present themselves a certain type of way. And I feel like that's another reason that there's a lot of people that's not having her back, because in one breath you're degrading and talking down on people who present themselves in a way, who might be posting thirst traps. But then, sexy thirst traps. That's basically what it is. But on the other hand, you want that same attention. But you thought, or you were raised to think that there was a certain way to go about it. And so I feel like what she's trying to do was like, oh, come after me. And I feel like she was raised to believe and to think, oh, this is the type of woman that is acceptable. This is a good woman. Why aren't y'all chasing after me? And I feel like this is now she's coming face to face with her own words. Like, well, now you know. Now you can understand why there are women who post thirst traps. Because if we're all gonna be like, we all want that attention and we all have that insecurity. Like, sometimes you just gotta shut your mouth, because then you end up in this situation where now you're bearing out your insecurity, you want people to understand you, but when there are other women who show their insecurity in other ways, you don't have their back, you think that you're better than them.
Yeah.
We as women are raised to think that this is what the ideal woman looks like, or this is what the wife looks like. But then the male is not raised to identify that.
Ooh.
You understand? So I feel like the males that we have in our society they go after the sex appeal. Their fathers very much so, like they're pushing their sons after that sex appeal, and we're taught to be this reserved woman, this woman that doesn't show everything, that doesn't say everything, all this other stuff. And so when we step out into the world, and then the men that were raised differently, they're bumping heads. Like that's literally what's taking place. And it's like, I was raised this way, but you was raised that way, and now I have an insecurity because I was taught that this was the right way, and you're taught to go after the person who was not raised that way. You understand? So I feel like that's like a big disconnect as well.
We keep putting sexy with the way you're dressed, but I feel like sexy comes off in the way you are.
Yeah.
I feel like you could definitely, because I've seen on social media people like, look at what you're wearing. It's because you're wearing that long skirt too. Like, no, I feel like there's a way that like something's going on inside and it comes out and it's like, oh, she's sexy. Because every time you see somebody who was sexy, they wasn't always naked.
Right. Sexy is more of a knowing and not a showing.
No one teaches that. Yeah, to know that you're sexy, right? No one teaches that. It's just like you have to look sexy because everything is with the eyes. And you don't walk up to somebody and be like, your brain is sexy.
Right.
That was self-love though. That's what knowing is your self-love. Without in you.
But how much are you with that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we just looking at it.
Yeah.
That's all we know. We're not looking what's inside.
Women, for many generations and even now, like we're not taught about our sexuality. We're not given the opportunity to be sexy. Like guys grow up and like sex is just thrown at them. It's like at 2, you got a little girlfriend, you got a little but at 2, somebody I see a boy around you and it's
being grown.
Like you being grown, you being fast. Those boys aren't stuck exactly, like fast tail behind, like those things like that. Those are stigmas that are attached to little girls, that are words that are not stuck to little boys. So then you get to this age and it's like, would she really be a fast, or she's coming into her sexuality? And I wonder what would happen if we didn't stick words on that. We have a lot more confident women that know that they have it, and not in comparison to somebody else. You don't want me to own my sexuality, but you want me to be a sexual object. You know what I'm saying?
But you're not the object for them.
Exactly.
You're not doing nothing for yourself. You know what I'm saying? We just taught this.
And that's the
their children.
And that's why they don't want you to feel sexy. Because sexy means I'm sexy for me. Like I felt that before you gave me attention, and now I'm using it. Because when you feel sexy, that's control, that's power. Like let's be real with it. Like if I know I can step to you and turn my sexy on, like I can do whatever I want.
Hello.
Period. And that's the fact.
They don't want no dominant women.
They don't. They don't want no sexy
Turn
women.
around and slap that.
No, you turn around and start slapping.
You want that, Ayesha? Is that the life you want? You don't want no parts of that. Choose this day, Ayesha.
Choose wisely, please.